Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. A lot of interesting things to talk about today, including one very interesting metric that shows, no surprise, that Bitcoin whales are buying and are accumulating during this weakness that we're experiencing. So there's that. There's a lot of talk about digital dollar and property. There's some other news going on in regards to Binance. Today is jam-packed with news. So let's get started. Thanks for tuning in. As always, smash a like, subscribe to the channel. 2 streams every day, 11:30 and 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure you hit that notification bell and follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and CryptosRUs.com. All right, welcome everyone. Jam-packed news day. A lot of interesting things happening. So let's get started. Well, starting with Bitcoin, 32,000. So last night it went as low as 31, right? Or tried to bounce off 31, and now it come up a little bit. But overall, still kind of boring. Still kind of going sideways. The fear index, which I did not even bring up. I'm curious. Where is it? Crypto fear index. I'm curious where it is. Whether it went up or down. It's holding steady. Holding steady about 22. So it's been here for quite some time. And I didn't even look at this, but look at when you expand fear and greed index over time, you'll see this big cluster that has formed for the last 2 months, okay? And normally when you have a big cluster form, like this period right here, you could see this period right here, that's, what follows is a pretty good uptrend. So are we going to see something similar? We've been stuck in here for quite some time, although it's a little bit higher. It's not all the way down. It's not a cluster around 10s. It's a cluster around 20s. And that's because there's just a lot more people in the space that's been longer in the space, that's been holding. And you don't see as many people as fearful as previous times. But we are having that cluster right here. So that's good. That's good. But let me show you what happened yesterday. And this is, I always warn you guys, 85,000 crypto traders liquidated after Bitcoin fell to nearly 30,000, right? So this point right here, yeah, that liquidated a lot of people. Even though the total volume is not as high as before we have seen like 3 billion, 5 billion, 10 billion of liquidations. No, this was only in a few hundred millions, but still, it's hundreds of millions. And you have almost 100,000 traders liquidated. Okay, this is why you don't want to liquidate. I mean, yes, you don't want to be liquidated, but this is why you don't want to play with leverage, no matter what. You think a 2x, 3x, 5x is tame and nothing's going to happen, right? Well, you're setting yourself up for failure. And not only that, I always stress this. You're not only setting yourself up for failure, but you're actually damaging the entire space. Because when you have multiple liquidations, that's adding a whole bunch of sell pressure, and you're contributing to the downfall, right? So unfortunately, this happened, and it's not a good thing. So if you're gonna be in the game, right, just buy and sell or hold, okay? Don't try to leverage, because it's not gonna lead to good things. So just want to start with that right off the bat. Okay, now, Greg, it does for most people. And just, if you want to continue to wreck yourself, then go ahead. I don't know why you even want to argue that, and why you want to, unless you work for Bybit. I guess that makes sense. But the statistics of people getting wrecked through liquidations is enormous. There's plenty of data to show you in case you want to look at more data. Let's take a look at it. Okay, let's look at over the past month. Look at these, okay? This is billions upon billions upon billions. Yet you have someone that is still trying to argue that leverage is good. You go back 3 months, I mean, look at some of these periods where you have 3 billion and here another 2 billion. You add all this up, 10 billion probably. 10 plus billion. That's only going back 3 months. And yet some people are still claiming liquid leverage is a good thing. This is not a good thing for individual traders or for an entire market. So stay away. Stay away. All right. Now, moving to the main thing. Sentiment has been very, very nice. Has been posting a lot of good metrics, on-chain metrics. Here we go. One that they posted not too long ago. Bitcoin may have dropped to 31.5 on Thursday, but the BTC million tier of addresses holding between 100 and 10,000 keeps climbing. The cumulative amount of holdings for these whales have increased by 100,000 since May 21st. So 100,000 BTC, right? So you can clearly see that as Bitcoin's price dropped, the whale accumulation, the whale buying continues to go up. There was some sell-off, there's no doubt. From its peak to the bottom, there was some that sold. In fact, they started selling, when Bitcoin hit a peak of 64,000. So they started selling when they thought it was a little bit too top-heavy already, right? But now that things have come down halfway, guess what? They're starting to accumulate, and the total holdings is close back to where it was before. So I don't think this is a surprise. I've been saying this for a while. The big boys, the whales, whoever they may be, they're really wealthy. They know how to play the game, and they've been in it for a long time, not just for crypto, but with stocks or equities and real estate or whatever, right? Most of the money is made when you buy low and you sell high. That's how it works. When there is a collapse, when there is a big dump, okay, it doesn't mean it just has to be with Bitcoin, but it could be anything. You ask any of these really wealthy people or billionaires, and they'll all say they built their wealth by buying low and selling high. Okay, so when Bitcoin is at a steep discount right now, 50% off within this bull run that I still maintain we're in a bull run and we will see a new high by the end of the year. So when it's at a discount of 50+%, well, that's a pretty good buying opportunity. And that's what this shows exactly, that the whales are buying and they're buying and buying more. So I like these kind of metrics. Okay, it really does show you that, hey, don't be fudding yourself out. Okay, I've said this before. There's a lot of media-driven FUD. There's a lot of people that are miserable and they want to spread hate because they're miserable, they missed out, or they made mistakes and they want to bring everyone else down, right? But ultimately, you have to decide what you want to do. And most people, if they have too much time on their hands, they keep fudding themselves, meaning spreading fear and uncertainty and doubt to themselves, eventually leading to panic selling. And that's what I'm here to prevent. So this is a really good thing. Now, something else, there's a lot of stuff. So I saw this. PayPal users can now buy up to 100,000 worth of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash weekly. Wow. I don't know how many users can afford to buy $100,000 worth of crypto every single week, but you can now. So as the bull market continues on later this year and people start FOMOing back in, well, PayPal's 355 million users will mostly be able to buy up to 100,000 worth of crypto every single week. Just think about that. If you're at gunpoint, you have to convert 50% of your portfolio to Super Shiba or Baby Doge. What would you choose? I would just take my chances and not pick either one. Do you think either is a good buy right now, or should I wait? When things are down 50+%, I think that's a pretty good buying opportunity. Don't forget to DCA today. I still have not moved my portfolio over to Live Coin Watch, which is why I forgot to do it. I promise I will do that tonight. In fact, yesterday was the time to do it. I said yesterday was a good time to do it. I didn't do it. I'm going to do it tonight. All right, moving on. Grayscale. Grayscale unlocking starts today. I mentioned the 16th, right? 16th is a very important day, although the unlock is the biggest unlock is going to come in 2 days in the 18th, but 16th starts today, 17th and 18th. Here's an interesting article. Can Grayscale actually sell Bitcoin after unlock of GBTC shares? Meaning, can people actually redeem their Bitcoin and sell it? The answer is no. No. Okay, you look at Grayscale right here, investment terms, redemptions. Redemptions of shares are not currently authorized. So it doesn't matter if you sell your GBTC or you buy GBTC at a discount, you can't redeem it. Okay, so this notion that you have 16,000 plus GBTC shares that's unlocked that the institutions can dump, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense that they would dump right now. They would be dumping at a loss. Okay, if they bought 6 months ago, this is right at the point, and it could be a little bit lower than the point they bought it at. And when they bought it at, there was a premium, meaning that they were basically guaranteed to make 20 to 40% to buy at that time and sell it at that price. Well, things have changed. Now it's at a negative. So if they actually sell now, they would actually be selling at a negative premium, meaning that they're going to be selling at a loss. So this chart breaks it down. So Bitcoin's price, the GBTC premium, and if you go back 6 months, back in January, you can see the premium was, Bitcoin was right around 30s and 40s, right? So right around this time. Actually, you could argue right now maybe a little bit lower. But the premium at that time was anywhere from 20 to 10%. So had they bought at that point and they're thinking, well, it's an easy 10%, 20%. Well, now it's dropped to negative 13, 14%. So they're just selling at a loss if they're doing it now, right? And some may because they're like, I want out, but it's more likely that that institutions or retailers will go on brokerages and just buy up GBTC shares over here while it's in the negative. So it makes more sense to do that. But you know what? It is coming. Let's see. It's starting today. It'll continue tomorrow, go to the 18th. And I think the biggest one's on 18th, but I think it goes on for a little further, like into the 20, 21, 22. And then it'll be over for like another 6 months or so. So that is also coming up. That's coming up. Digital Yuan used in $5 billion worth of transactions already, according to the China Central Bank. Now, this is the interesting thing. I think a lot of people expected, including myself, that China just want 100% control over everything, which I still think is the case. But they want total like visibility into everything. But after reading this, it's quite interesting. They're doing a tiered setup with their wallets, and this is almost like this is like the same system you see with a lot of exchanges these days. So what they're going to do is they're going to allow their citizens to actually opt for a wallet, and you could actually open a wallet without providing any personal information, meaning no KYC. But if you do that, then the transactions and the balance limit that you can have is very limited, kind of like the exchanges, right? But then as you give more information, like KYC information and so forth, then they will unlock more features and give you more limits and more transactions and so forth. Again, just like the exchanges. So they are actually looking at some of the things that's going on in the crypto space and following it. And they also have a white paper. Why would they need to have a white paper? Well, apparently they decided that they need a white paper. So they do have their own white paper. They do have their own wallet, which they're not requiring everyone to provide all KYC information right away. It depends on how much features that you want. And of course, they're trying to integrate this with everything. Unmanned vans, self-service vending machines, unmanned supermarkets, payment gloves. I don't even know what that is. Payment badges, Winter Olympics, and other wearable devices. I mean, that's a lot. Unmanned vans. We don't even have that in the US. People are still trying to figure out, full self-driving. So apparently in China that already exists. Unmanned supermarkets, kind of. Amazon kind of has it. I mean, wow, they have a lot going on. But anyways, kind of shows you what China is doing with the digital yuan. We heard of ECB trying to come out with a digital euro, which is a little bit different, but it seems like they're still 2 years off, right? And of course, the US, we're still waiting for a response. Jerome Powell says, you don't need cryptocurrencies if you had a digital USD, but he was referencing more with stable coins, which if you think about, it's kind of true. In particular, to quote, in particular, you won't need stable coins. You wouldn't need cryptocurrencies if you had a digital US currency. I think that's one of the stronger arguments in its favor. So unfortunately, every single crypto out there is labeled cryptocurrencies, even though many are not actually intended for or intended to be used as a currency. A lot is for utility. We have store value, right? But we do have a lot of stable coins. That's like powering all the DeFi projects that we have right now, right? And transfers and payments and so forth, right? So Jerome Powell argues, well, if you had a digital USD, why would you need stable coins? Because stable coins are pegged to the dollar anyways, right? So if you think about it, that's kind of true. But the difference is stable coins are still not controlled by the Fed. That's the difference. The Fed with the digital USD, they'll still cause inflation. They'll still try to control it. Even though it's a digital dollar, we know that, you know, the buying power and everything else that goes on with the dollar is decreasing, right? So maybe not. Maybe this isn't the right way to go, but we haven't really heard of the US, you know, really responding in any way. Where is this digital USD, right? Is it being worked on? Is it, you know, is it being co-developed with MIT, which that's the last thing I heard, but that was like a year ago. We don't know. We don't know. I guess we'll just have to see. But this is also the reason why Michael Saylor thinks that Bitcoin is not going to be a currency. He keeps saying that Bitcoin is a digital property. Now, I think the reason why Michael is going with this narrative is because he does not want the US government or the Fed to go after Bitcoin and regulate it as a currency. Because if it is a digital property, then you treat it as property just like real estate and gold, and it's not a threat to the US dollar, right? So I think that is the narrative he's trying to push. And if you think about it, that is correct, because most people buying Bitcoin is treating it like a property, like an investment property, not so much as a medium exchange currency that you want to use every day, even though there are payment systems and Lightning Network that can help with that, but most people are treating it as property. And Michael, that's how he feels. He's like, it's property, and it's going to be regulated, but it's not going to be regulated like other currencies. This is the reason why he says he doesn't like, you know, altcoins. I think that the only thing that he points to is regulations. If brokerages are regulated, if centralized exchanges are regulated, then why wouldn't DeFi and stable coins and everything else be regulated too? So maybe he's waiting for that. So he's going with buying a block or many blocks of Manhattan. He's going for the foundation. He's staying with Bitcoin. All right, what else is there? Binance. Binance is having some trouble, man. A lot of things going on with Binance. They recently released stock tokens of Tesla, of Coinbase. You know, they wanted to jump in on the hype. But I think they didn't realize that in a lot of jurisdictions, a lot of countries, they don't like that because stocks and brokerages and stock exchanges and all these things are heavily regulated. And now all of a sudden, you don't have to go through these regulated entities. You could just go on Binance and buy a stock token which mimics the price of these stocks. I think Binance is, I know they're feeling the heat, so now they're stopping it immediately. So if you own any stock tokens on Binance, you should get out immediately, because according to them, users who currently hold stock tokens may sell or hold them over the next 90 days. After that, that's it. It's gone. It's gone. So you have 90 days to get rid of them. If you're on Binance, you should stop. you should stop immediately. So I think Binance, always pushes the envelope. They try to integrate so many things into the platform, and they had the luxury of doing so because they're not based in any country. So they haven't had to get approval from any of these countries. But now these countries are noticing that Binance is doing a lot of things that they don't like offering leverage, offering futures, offering stock tokens, and many other things. So now they're getting some heat. So Binance has to figure these stuff out. This is one of the things that Brian Armstrong of Coinbase said about Binance, is that Binance had the luxury of not having to, comply with regulations like Coinbase had to in the US. Otherwise, Coinbase probably would have launched their own token already and could have offered futures and leverage and all these things. But these are things that are just a no-no at this point. All right, what else is there? Brazil approves the first LATAM-based Ethereum ETF. We know Latin America, or Brazil, I believe in particular, recently have voted to allow a Bitcoin ETF. This is after Canada's 3 Bitcoin ETFs. So now we'll soon have Ethereum ETF. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So I've been talking a lot about Ethereum and how big boys are jumping into Ethereum. And of course, they have a lot of things going on. But it does show that there is a lot of interest in Ethereum. I think primarily over DeFi, because all the biggest DeFi and NFT plays and marketplaces, all these dApps are still riding on Ethereum or using a ERC20 token. They're integrated in some way, right? So the big boys are starting to pay attention that it's not just Bitcoin, it's Bitcoin and Ethereum, and the two doesn't compete. That's what I've been saying for a while. Bitcoin is a store of value. Ethereum is more of a foundation for dApps, like an operating system, a protocol. So two very different things. Last few things. Ripple fans. Ripple fan says this is a positive thing. So Ripple is allowed to call on Bill Hyman, who testified in 2018 in regards to Ethereum and whether or not it's a security, and it was deemed that it was not. So now Ripple wants to know what Bill Hyman said about Ethereum, because they want to use that against the SEC and say that XRP is not a security. SEC did not like this, so they were trying to block this from happening. Well, I guess they lost, because Ripple is now to call on or dispose Bill Hyman and ask him exactly the criteria that he looked at and what made him decide Ethereum was not a security. And they're going to use that in this official case against the SEC. So it's getting complicated. It's getting complicated. SEC seems to be losing little ground here or there and there and there. Maybe Ripple will come out on top and not even settle. Maybe they're just going to win the case. I don't know. Maybe. Lastly, Thorchain. Unfortunately, Thorchain, once upon a time, was very, 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 very hot. Has come down quite a bit, and recently this did not help them. They lose 7.6 million in this exploit, ChaosNet exploit, and offers the hacker a bounty to return the funds. They do have enough in their treasury to make up for it, but they would like the hacker to return it and just give them a really good bounty instead. So this has happened. I don't know exactly what this ChaosNet exploit is, but Thorchain did patch it. And if you don't know what Thorchain is, it's just a bunch of liquidity pools. It's like a decentralized liquidity pool provider to be used in many DeFi projects. And there's some kind of exploit, and they were able to steal a whole bunch of money. But hopefully the hacker will return it for a bounty rather than being hunted down by the FBI or whoever. So we'll see. Outside of that, live coin watch. Let's look at Bitcoin dominance, still around 45%. So not a whole lot of movement. 24 hours, you're starting to see some, like Bitcoin and Ethereum, starting to come up. Like I said, yesterday would have been a really good time to DCA at night, my night stream, but I still didn't move the portfolio over, so I apologize for that. But, for the last week or 2 weeks or month, right? Kind of stuck in a rut. Bitcoin and crypto kind of stuck there. A lot of people getting getting panicky, trying to throw out FUD, right? But ultimately, I still believe this bull run is not over. And people that want to label it like a bear market or a downtrend or whatever, right? Doesn't help. You just need to decide what you're going to do, right? How are you going to move forward? Are you going to fall in, right? You go fall for the FUD and you go say, I had enough. I'm done, right? That is an option. And you could do that and you could pull out. You can make your unrealized losses into realized losses, right? Or you could continue to hodl, continue to study the market, continue to pay attention what's going on behind the scenes. Or you could try to get some cash on hand so that if we do see more volatility and go more down, then you have the opportunity to buy. Or even if it doesn't happen, if you make more cash, then you can buy in, right? So there's really only 3 options that you can do. So it's more important to focus on what you can do rather than try to label the market in a certain way, which just serves no purpose at all, in my opinion. All right, let's do some Q&A. Konosaki says, I DCA 100 euros every week. I've shown how that is so powerful, and DCA works. You don't have to be greedy. You don't have to rely on TA. If you set a schedule and you follow through with it over a course of, I don't know, year, 2 years, 3 years, you're going to be rewarded. It's that simple. I've shown this site many times in case you guys want to use it yourself. It's called costavg.com. And you could do it yourself. This one is limited though. So you can only choose BTC, ETH, Litecoin, etc. But I'm going to use ETH since it's very popular, getting more popular these days. You put $100, right? Even let's just say, I don't know, 6 months. Yeah, 6 months. I don't know if 6 months is actually in the green, but I'm just going to do it anyway. So let's do 7, 16. No, 116. Calculate. Yeah. Oh, no, this is 2020. Okay, well, let's just start with this one. 2020, had you put in $100 every single week. So this is exactly 1 year. 1 year and 6 months. I screwed that up. Let's just go 1 year. All right, let's go 1 year to make it even. Here we go. 1 year exactly, $100 every single week. You would have invested $5,300. Okay, your total value of your Ethereum will be now $14,677. So you made ROI of what, 176%. So, kind of shows you the power of DCA, right? You ignore the volatility, you ignore anything else, you just continue to put in. And obviously this time frame, if you expand it out more and more and more, this keeps going up and up and more, right? So that's the power of DCA. It really works. Or you could DCA yourself and just buy the dips, which is harder to time, but that also works, right? But the name of the game is to invest for the future, right? And hold for long-term wealth, life-changing wealth. All right, scrolling up, making sure I don't miss anything. Eduardo says these are actually crypto assets, not currencies. Yes, but everything started out when Bitcoin was created, and everything followed. People just labeled cryptocurrencies, right? But really, it's crypto assets. I think that's a better name for it. Mario with crypto. I appreciate that. Really do. Ryan says, ADA is a cult coin. People love to idolize people. Well, everything in crypto is idolized. And you have people that support them and continue to hold. Otherwise, none of them could hold the price, right? That's part of it. Cult is a bad word, and there are some projects that are cults, but for everything else, you just have a collective group of people that believe in it. That's really it. Doesn't have to be a cult, but due to the technology or due to the leadership like Charles or due to something else, the promise of making more gains, something causes people to hold strong, and that's what you need. If you don't have that, then it'll never go up in value. There's a Led Zepp says there's a reason why you can't buy stocks from different markets. That's very true. If you're in the US, you're not supposed to buy, or you can't buy stocks from other countries and vice versa and so forth. There's a lot of rules in place. What else is there? Scrolling down. Binance is going to get destroyed. I don't know about that. Ever since the 2017, people have doubted Binance, saying, it's too centralized, CZ is too manipulative, and this and that. Well, since 2017 to now, Binance has gone up quite tremendously and have only gotten stronger. So I would not discount Binance out by any means. And plus, their Binance Smart Chain is still operating very, very, very effectively. Marshawn says, I love my job. Are you talking about being an admin or your normal job? Are we around the corner from mass adoption? Every single cycle, we get more and more and more adoption. But if you mean mass adoption among institutions, yes, we're starting. This is the only year I would say last year, the end of last year till this year, is the only times when we heard of big institutions jumping in, public trade companies jumping in, right now countries jumping in. We have never seen that in the history of Bitcoin, right? So it's only getting started. But from a retail perspective, it's been happening, but it's still a very tiny amount of people compared to the total population of Earth. But that's why you want to get in early, because when it is 8 billion people in crypto, well, that's when things will be like so high. I can't even imagine. Lupus, appreciate that. What do you think about Solana? I do like Solana quite a bit. I think with the back end of Alameda, they're going to go very far. Dope Creations, always appreciate your support. Angry Lotus, Georgia Blackbound Hodl. I mean, I've lived through a couple cycles, so I've lived through cycles where I didn't hodl and I've lost tremendously, so I've learned from that. All right, so now I'm trying to catch up here. I'm going down. JG says BitBoy has insider information on cryptos will go up next week. Well, I hope it pans out, but I've been showing you guys a lot of metrics about, bottom indicators, right? A lot of things show that we are at the same level as March of 2020, where, there's just so many things. Even this morning, I showed the crypto fear index, right? When you have a clumping of fear, that's one of them. You also look at stable coins. I think it's called SSVR. Stable coin ratio versus Bitcoin, that's also at very low. And there's so many indicators. And even, this kind of accumulation, right? Yes, that's also a bottom indicator. I mean, the miners, the mining hash power going up. Let's look at it real quick. Let's see if it went up. I didn't even look at it. Yeah, you could see the mining power, the hash rate started coming up again. That's also very positive, right? So it would not surprise me that we will recover, right? Instead of focusing on doom and gloom like a lot of other people are, I'm not focusing on that. I'm focusing on the future, right? Bought another 5K BTC last night. Feeling pretty bullish. Congratulations. All right, now I'm starting to catch up. What do you think about Coinbase teaming up with Polygon to make their dApp store and connect it to Coinbase wallet? Any thoughts? Yeah, Coinbase wallet is actually pretty good. People get confused. Coinbase wallet is a separate wallet that you could use without Coinbase. And it acts very much like the Trust wallet. They're both non-custodial wallets, but both of them have app stores, which is really nice. So what Coinbase is trying to do is come out with a global app store for all things DeFi. I think all things crypto, really. So for Coinbase to partner up with all these other chains and get their dApps integrated into this global app store, I think that's pretty smart. I think that's pretty smart. SLRS. Solrise. Why is everyone talking about Solrise? Just this morning, someone asked me about Solrise. And I was looking at it. I'm like, decentralized fund management investment protocol on Solana, the fastest blockchain to date. Is someone talking about this? I'm curious why all of a sudden people are asking about it. Start a new fund and begin attracting investors. Get hedge fund level returns. So you're trying to be a fund manager and you get other people to invest in it. That's what it sounds like. So I don't even know if that's legal. I don't know if this is really legal in a lot of jurisdictions. I don't know. Maybe I could put my sample portfolio and create a fund with it. You know, but then I'm afraid I'm probably gonna get in trouble for it. So yeah, I don't know. It could work out in some areas, other areas. I don't know if that's going to be even legal. So, Matic, I love Matic. Polygon, I think Polygon is doing very, very good. Phil's laughing about something. I don't know what. Love you from New York City. Shout out to New York City. Dope Creations. You know, that's what I'm here for. Gino, love your work. Appreciate that. Max, I'm laughing at your comments. What else? Press Alt-I on TradingView for a better view. I'm not on TradingView. I'm actually on Aurox. By the way, Aurox Terminal. People always ask me, what is this? It's Get Aurox. It's called Aurox Terminal. It's in my description. But they add a whole bunch of stuff. They're just adding more and more. So I showed you guys, you could get Cypher, you know, the market Cypher that other people pay for. It's actually included free with Aurox. But also something else they're adding is this indicator screener. So for those of you guys that love TA, and I'm working with them on this to make it even better, but if you want to see like, okay, what's an oversold for RSI, for example, right? And I'll tell you, and then you can also sort it by, I know my screen is kind of cut off there, but just so you could see over here, you can sort it by day, you know, like according to this, RSI is oversold for theta, right? So you could do this for many different time periods or intervals, and you could do multiple ones, like MACD being bullish and RSI being oversold. One day, anything? Nothing. 12 hours? Nothing. 4 hours? Nothing. Well, maybe that's a little too aggressive at this point. But you can do many things, and for now, I think this is free. Later on, they're going to want you to buy Aurox tokens, URS tokens, to get all this, but it's included. So, that's why I like Aurox, because everything that you see, for the most part, is free. So, why not? And all these indicators and everything from TradingView is all included in here. And you can buy directly. You can place order directly on Uniswap from Binance. You know, they have a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, Lupus said, thanks for suggesting Delta app is very useful. Delta app is a fantastic portfolio tracker. For those of you guys that have coins everywhere, you don't know how to track it properly, Delta app is a pretty good one. Pretty good one. And it's free too. Do future liquidations add to REX statistics? I think so. I would think so for sure. Phil says SLRS in the end might get you free lodging and food for 3 to 5 years. I think you're right. I think you're right. You can look forward to that. All right, what else? Thoughts on Axis Infinity? I mean, I know it's just doing very well. It got added on KuCoin recently. So that probably helped them even more. I don't know how much they've been going up recently. Yeah, I mean, look at that. It's just crazy. It's crazy. They're almost 1.4 billion. I got made aware of this very early on, like somewhere around here. I didn't pay attention to it. I'm like, it's another game. It could do well, but I don't know what happened recently that really made it skyrocket. It could just be because some pump group started, or they done something else that really starting the price. They're way above their all-time high. But like I said, there's always projects that seem to go up to the moon forever, and this is one of those projects that is making people FOMO in. But whenever something goes up this much, this fast, it tends to also come down. There will be a top where it comes down, takes a breather. So I would wait for that moment before trying to FOMO in. All right. Patrick says, dude, quit ignoring me. Well, maybe if you weren't so annoying. What did you say? Check out Tomo. It's pumping right now. Well, there's no need to check it out while it's pumping. It's another promising blockchain. It's been around for quite some time. Juro Wallet. It's one that's coming out for Cardano. You know, really waiting for Cardano to be done before looking at all these projects that's supposed to be operational on Cardano. It's Get Aurox. Get Aurox. A lot of people are playing this game in Brazil. Maybe that's why. It's just caught on. The good thing with games is they could go very, very viral, very fast. Bruce is watching me from Australia. It's 3:23 a.m. It's worth it. That's crazy, man. You should just go to sleep. Go to sleep. Don't worry about crypto so much. If you're still, watching your portfolio at 4 a.m. in the morning, you go drive yourself nuts. So, yeah. All right. That's pretty much it. What else is there? Robbie from New Hampshire. Hope everyone hit those likes. Appreciate that. I took your advice holding 50, 25, 25. Can you propose one altcoin that might go 20x? I don't know. There's so many. KuCoin token can. Something like very, very small ones like Rally or BPro or Nulls. These are ones that I've covered before. I think they all are still promising. But there's so many others. Even 20x. Even some of these on the top 100 can go 20x. Top 100 here. These are still what? 400, 500 million? You do 20x? 10 billion? They could be possible. A lot of these are very, very promising projects. So even they could do 20x. Even Harmony, Zilliqa, Graph. These guys could do 20x. Flow could definitely do 20x. It may take some time though. So don't always look at just ultra small caps. Even mid caps could do very, very well. Ukomi is another one I think is pretty good too. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. You know what? No surprise that Bitcoin whales, the big boys, are accumulating while the price is going down. It just makes a whole lot of sense. If you go buy, you buy low, right? You buy low. So no surprise, but I love these kind of metrics. It shows you that Bitcoin is not dead. It's not dead at all. Maybe we stay weak. Maybe we stay at these levels for quite some time. But things, I believe, will pick up. So focus on that. Is 60 billion market cap good for altcoin? Yeah, because there's not that many in 60 billion. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. As always, smash the like, subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you guys like cars, check out my other channel, Drivers Only. That's it. All right.